Lyra have felt pretty impactful across the course of today. Do we think it's a matter of Celeste as a pick, or it's just not been able to find the right composition so far?
A little bit of both. I mean, obviously, she's seen some success today as we get ready to hop into the draft here, but it's all about setting her up. She needs to have the right team composition, and almost even more importantly, she needs to be able to go up against a composition that isn't directly punishing of her kit.
Instantaneous. As soon as the draft loads in, TTigers bans away that Vox. Like, not even a chance of that appearing in this game. So we'll see where Oldskool decides to go with these bans. Inara Hover, looks like that's what Neon Fire wants him to take off the board, but it is going to be the Arden that gets focused here instead.
Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Arden, he gets weapon power underneath him. Those blood for bloods just deals so much burst damage, and then he's just so tanky on top of it, and Gauntlet, so much utility. Not something that any team really wants to deal with if they don't have to.
Yeah, with the Flicker getting banned, and then there it is. So a lot of that mobility, again, being focused early in this draft. Lorelei is still open. Could be seeing the Churnwalkers first pick. I actually really feel like Lorelei might be the best pick to grab right now, just because all of that other mobility has been taken off the board. She's really one of the only team-wide mobility options left.
Yeah, she's very good. They do indeed go with that Lorelei for the first pick of Team TTigers. Going to be interesting to see how Oldskool wants to respond right here. Like Tasty said, she is one of the few remaining mobility-based heroes. Oldskool opting for that Celeste, though. A lot of damage in the back line, perhaps. It'll be interesting to see what he ends up going with.
Yeah, they do lock in the Lyra. That's the last remaining of the team-wide mobility buffs. Well, actually, no, Fortress does still exist, but...
does he? if they're not being played in the meta, do they really exist?
But he does exist. But he's really the only other hero I could think of that gives any of that team-wide mobility. So I don't think we're going to be seeing him come through here, but grabbing the Lyra I think is very smart with the fact that everything else has been taken away.
That's a great duo too. Lyra so strong in the early game where Celeste arguably struggles quite a bit. She can help keep her alive, poke really well in the lane, and then as the game progresses, having that bright bulwark to prevent these instantaneous engages on top of Celeste is going to be very important to make sure Shaded Talent is timing that absolutely immaculately.
Silvernail will get grabbed here for TTigers. And again, making sure that they get that carry early. The Silvernail has been so impactful in all these games. Everyone wants to make sure that they're the ones that get Silvernail on their team, because while yes, Kinetic does exist and is strong, everyone would rather have the Silvernail.
Yeah, and I think that that's a pick that Mixi in particular is very comfortable with. I think he knows the limits of the hero quite a bit. I think his Quadra earlier actually came on Kinetic, but he definitely has the mechanical ability to pull off a Quadra. Maybe we'll even get a Penta with his Silvernail here in this one.
I would love to see a Penta come through. I was just going to say, Yates is going to have to be a thought here as well for both sides, but it is Oldskool that will go ahead and grab Yates off the board. So now TTigers, they've got themselves their weapon carry. They've got likely their mid laner and what could be either their support or their jungler. So I'm expecting to see another bruiser come through that could fill into that kind of flex role. And then they also need a top laner, which historically has been bruisers as well. So a bunch of durability likely to come through. Lance fits that role perfectly. And now for their final pick, they could go for that assassin, and they are with the Anka, opting for a little bit of extra damage.
Yeah, finding that engage potential too. Gonna be so important. Whoever ends up on the Anka is paying attention to where Celeste is at all time, finding the mark on her, quickly engaging whenever possible, and just deleting her. If TTigers team is able to do that, they're gonna find success here in this game #1. If they're not, I think they might struggle.
Unsurprisingly, Kinetic is the final pick for Team Oldskool. They needed a weapon carry. So Kinetic is pretty much the go-to if Silvernail's not up. But I want to also point out the fact that TTigers is the one playing this Lance in the jungle. And so typically when we've seen Lance, we haven't seen him too much. He's been in that top lane. And now bringing him into the jungle role, having that moving around the map, able to gank lanes. If those impales land, you can secure kills so easily with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Worth mentioning as well that TTigers roster right there has a ton of damage. You mentioned earlier the Lyra are going to help protect that Celeste, but Anchor is one of those heroes that is going to love to jump onto that backline, try and delete it. Do you think that they're going to be able to set up those situations though?
Very hard to tell. It's all just going to come down to execution and the communication that they have to deal with that.
All right, it's time to jump on into our final here. It is going to be TTigers going up against Oldskool. I'm going to pass it back over to Humanist and Dowsy to kick it off.
Well, that's right, everybody. Welcome to Game 1 of our finals. I'm Humanist, joined by Dowsy, as Team TTigers look to take on Team Oldskool for 2,000 in cash plus bragging rights.
It's been our longest one yet so far. A double round robin has found us here. TTigers currently 3-0, but he gets pulled on in the first aggressive move of this best of 3 finals. We'll have to see if Team Oldskool can get redemption. They did go down to TTigers earlier on tonight, but it does feel like Oldschool's team have got better as time has gone on, which is definitely the way you want to be going if you're going into a best of 3.
Absolutely. You have to wonder, you know, has TTigers squad kind of cooled off after having a break? You have to imagine they probably watched the other matches, but I don't know how much they gleaned from that.
Well, we did see some targeted bans come through, making sure that really important picks were off the table here. And so you have to think that that is the information gleaned. We now see Oldskool playing a Celeste, arguably not as strong as his Adagio, as his Vox. Instead, we have starting all over on the Lorelei, which we just saw be super impactful. So far, starting all over has been a god in this mid lane, so I'm really excited to see that continue. And TTigers is playing this Churnwalker as well. We've seen Churnwalker have a lot of impact in these team fights, so I'm really excited to see how these games do play out. Delphi's on the Yates. He's had an on and off performance over the night, but when he does play well, he is on fire. So we'll have to see if Delphi can bring his A game. It's going to be really important, honestly, against TTigers.
Now, did you have a favorite coming into this one?
Yeah, TTigers.
Yeah.
I mean, so far tonight, TTigers' team hasn't looked like they have a strong weakness in their play style. When you consider the people they've got in their roles, Mixi is a mechanical god, TTigers is a mechanical god, starting all over is a mechanical god, and Gatsby has just been so consistent in that top lane. And now playing an Anchor, he can kind of showcase his ability to be considered a mechanical god as well. And Koz has just been playing super well. It's really, sometimes the captain players go under the radar, especially when you're not Gabe Vizzle or Evo. But, you know, Koz has been playing an immaculate game tonight. And it's not to say Shaded Talent isn't, because he is, but it just feels like Koz is not really making too many mistakes.
No, they're playing pretty well as a squad. I thought it was pretty funny how he just list all the mechanical gods, and Gatsby. I mean, he's doing pretty good. Gatsby has been stepping up, you know, as our analysts have mentioned repeatedly as one of their main talking points. Gatsby has just been winning through the VPL Fantasy All-Stars.
It sounds bad and it's kind of boring, but it's like if you don't die in top lane and you make some good plays like this here, then you've done your job as a top laner, right?
Well, looks like blanks should be falling here as the hook and chains are out. Gatsby will not be rooted up. In fact, he gives first blood over to Tigers. I'd like to think Tiggs didn't take that one.
It was the Churnwalker tick, you know, taking at however many damage per second because of the chain damage.
Starting
all over.
Drop one more attack. Oldskool booting forward on the magic
broomstick.
Right.
Oh!
Collapse into Helio. He's got him. What a play in the mid lane from Oldskool himself.
Did look like it could have gone all wrong, as starting over, sidestepped left, right, and center, but wasn't able to do it. Koz really wants this. He's going forward, dodges out the core collapse, but that bright bulwark will pretty much end it up. Yep, there it is. Unlucky.
It was worth a shot though. Tiggs drops that scout cam, meaning that he's able to stop the back from Shaded Talon. Shaded Talon was going to think twice about it anyway. He's happy just to remain down here with Neon Fire momentarily, although this might mess up some of their next rotations through the next minute or two.
Yeah, no, I mean, those chasers with no fruit gained can be pretty devastating. It's something you do have to keep care of. But the fact of the matter is, you've got TTigers here playing the Churn Walker. When you pair it with a weapon power carry, they clear the jungle really quickly, which means that you can get back on top of your rotational game. So you're definitely not going to be out of it too much. Interestingly enough, Blanks is sharing the gold with Oldskool here. So whilst TTigers is the one who's getting that ambient gold from Mixi, they're actually sharing that between Oldskool and Blanks, trying to get Oldskool to that level 8 as quickly as possible. He's taking a lot of experience off the map here. If Oldskool is able to carry on the Celeste, then that's going to work out really well.
Oh, you just know it. Oldskool ready to carry right here. He's in the zone. I think he's been sweatier than almost anybody playing today. And, you know, Tiggs, like, he's always sweating, but he's just so cool, calm, and collected.
Definitely is cool, calm, and collected. Couldn't describe the guy better myself. Every time.
Bye, Mixi. Right? Oh, no. Ulted back against the wall. He's going to say it. I thought Neon Fire had him dead rights.
Just got debated, mate.
Oh, nice debate coming on through.
That's a really quick mid lane turret. What the hell?
Yeah.
Starting all over. Okay, so what's going on here is Oldskool is putting so much time into farming the jungle and getting that experience, because you get a little bit more experience from the jungle camps. That is Blank's dead? No way.
No way.
It means that Starting Olympus has been able to do mid lane.
Oh, is Blank's dead?
No way.
I'll pick up where you
No way.
No way.
Oh, he's dead.
No way. Yeah, absolutely dead right there. No chance. Starting all over. Is he dead? I'd say so.
Dead?
Cause tried to help him out.
Dead?
Is Cause dead?
I mean, Cause is dead.
I think, yeah, Cause is dead.
No?
No, just
Is Cause
kidding!
dead?
Got my fountain! But get over here. This is my Wolf's Maw. I'm Delphi. I'm the best jungler in the game. Mr. Consistency is my name. Cause will be able to combat roll himself away.
Is Cause dead?
Exciting. Oh, Cause is dead.
I feel like my heartstrings have been pulled here, Humanist.
Yeah.
Anxiety can't take it anymore. That was a lot of action that just happened, and some people died, which is really unfortunate. But that mid lane turret being down really early could influence this game a little bit more. Opens up the paths into the jungle here. We'll have to see if Team Tigers can utilize the control they've got, because now this mid lane is fairly unsafe. Mid lane, one of the shorter lanes, allows for easy escape into the jungle. Well, now it doesn't quite have that safety, and that's really important against a Celeste. But because of Oldskool's farming habits, he is level 8, which is a really important power spike.
Churn getting lit up. Tiggs has to know what he's doing here. They're gonna lose Mixi to start things off. Tiggs looks like he's gonna fall as well. Stays along for a long time, and starting also getting lit up. He's down. Triple kill coming through for Neon Fire, and that's what you like to see if you are Team Oldskool. Maybe losing their mid T1 turret was all part of the plan.
All part of the plan, hey? A false sense of security here. I mean, it's put Oldskool in a really good position. Cause is going to come in and do some damage, but I don't think he can do much other than just be an annoyance. And because Oldskool has hit level 8 so quickly and got that Helo Genesis overdrive, he is in such a strong position, such a demanding position, hitting power spikes earlier than starting all over, which allows the rest of his team to group up and then make plays which allow for ghost wings to be secured. It's just the tempo game is in favor of Oldskool right now. It's not much of a gold lead, but potentially they're able to continue snowballing this in their favor.
Yeah, it feels like it. And there's some other small wins, like, for example, Cause having to self-fountain means they're not going to have that for another minute if there are any engages. You know, just kind of chipping away, and suddenly we'll see, you know, if Oldskool are able to build on this, it could leap by a couple thousand net worth at a time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's this stage of the game where things start to become a little bit more clear. Gaspy diving onto Delphi, but Blanks is there.
He gets the sun to start. Blanks getting the damage. Cause will move over from the right side here. Got an impale. Delphi, don't know about that play. Stunned up against the wall. Combat roll forward from Cause. He's got him. That was too easy. Now, Blanks was able to get the trade for himself. So 1-for-1. And Cause and Blanks will play some games here. There's a little bit of poking in mid lane as well. I don't think anybody's actually caught in any position, but this is pure comedy in the top lane.
Yeah, no, it's Benny Hill theme right here. Who's gonna win it? Is Cos dead? Is Blanks dead? Oh, Flask. That's cheating.
Oh, that's not right. You can't do that.
That
Well,
was a
see, you know,
Flask
Cause,
fight.
that's 2 self-fountains in a row here. And you gotta wonder if this is the new meta.
Yeah, no, I mean, why not? It's definitely new meta, Humanist. decided here on stream.
Yeah, you see something happen 2 times in a row.
Yep.
Surely it has to mean something.
No longer a coincidence, is it?
No longer. You know, you can't. And look at that pull on to starting all over. But look at the reflexes. I mean, honestly, have you seen somebody drop a water wall that fast right there? TTigers, a couple hook and chains here, trying to be that bully, trying to be that nuisance. But nobody was really ready to fight with him. It's almost a little awkward.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, you know, starting all over is already out of the fight. He can't really re-engage, and, you know, Gaspy kind of has to land A onto Oldskool, or else it's not worth your time here. Can Delphi find a gauge onto Gaspy? That's what they want. Oh, not
Delphi,
really.
swing and a miss. Not quite regretting that one, but wishing he could have it back. Supernovas are there. Nice Mirage dodge on the Solar Storm. Gaspy styling over here. What an Onka player indeed. But now, Team Oldskool stunned up against the wall as a 3-man squad. They're onto this mid T1 turret here. Looks like it will be theirs for sure. Cause pulled back. He's pretty tanky, but taking a lot of damage. He's going to stay alive for now. Tiggs. What a 4-man! Stun coming on through. Can his team follow up? No! It feels like they're just not able to get anything done just yet. But another hook and chains looking able to spread out. Now Gatsby here, they got the damage. And they're just going to wreck right all over Oldskool. And Blank's Delphi almost falling as well. In fact, is Gatsby going to be able to chase it on a... Gatsby moving through the jungle, silently stalking his prey. Gets the shot over the wall. He's going to bounce forward. Looking for somebody else, but that's not quite the target he was looking for. 3 versus 1, Gaspy, time to dance. He uses his boots, Neon Fire, trouble making his way forward, Healing Flask. Gaspy, look for someone not going to be able to get it. But that's a lot of time that he bought for his team there.
He bought a lot of time for his team. They're doing Ghost Swing Humor, so it's okay. It's worth it. Gaspy, two-time All-Stars Fantasy VPL winner here, showing why he's made it this far.
Two-time fantasy.
Yep, 2-time fantasy, looking to try and become 3-time All-Stars Fantasy VPL
so does that,
winner.
Like, I don't know, like, is this like the fantasy of all Vainglory esport fans? Like the team that wins, like this is the fantasy team? Is that how we take it? Like, what does that mean?
It just means that you're in a fantasy world right now, Humanist. Ability to do what you want, be who you want to be, say what you want to say.
Yeah. Oh, they gave me a microphone. I do what I want with it. Trespass back. Nice dodge on the Solar Storm. Tiggs repositioning, using those mechanical god abilities. Let's chase forward. State of Talent with the defensive arcane. Passage back, using that fountain. He'll stay alive, but just barely. Oldskool trying to get that return damage. He's got this build that's not very rampy. It's just kind of steady as she goes.
Steady as we goes, and it feels like TTigers' team has taken back control over this game. There was a real good moment where it felt like Oldskool was starting to run away with it, but now everyone's ramped up. Mixi's kind of done the work in the bot lane, hasn't really been a part of this game until now. Things are starting to fall apart here for the side of Oldskool.
Yeah, Shaded Talent, hello. What are you doing over here? That's a free kill to the Silvernail. And his team's not going to be doing much without him here. It looks like Blacklaw does go over to the side of Team TTigers. TTigers zoning here, taking a lot of damage. They're going to leave one back here. And this Delphi wrap around. Delphi wrap around. Neon Fire wrap around. Make the play. Get in there. Steal this Blacklaw. What are you doing? Neon Fire's trying to dance with TTigers when you should be doing the tango in the Blacklaw pit over here. It will go the way of Onk. Does Gaspy able to secure that? Looks like he may. I know they get the knockback against the wall and keep Gaspy alive. Plus the Blacklaw. I've never seen such a play.
Yeah, I mean, right now it just looks like things are all over. Blackclaw going to be pushing on forward. Oldskool's team, they had a slight advantage. The power spikes were going their way, and then they kind of just threw it all away, unfortunately for them. All off the back of some great hook pressure coming out from TTigers. He's just been allowed to walk up hook 3, and unfortunately the Crucible plays from Shaded Talent from Lone Delphi just hasn't been enough here. Blacklaw now onto this armory turret, going to take it on down. The armory will be pushed. Gaspy is currently dealing with a lane, so it will be a 4v5, meaning that everyone has to pull back. The re-engage.
Go get him. Cause is the first to go down. That's the tankiest. Now looking for starting all over. Come on, collapse as a team, guys. You're professional players, for goodness sake. Solar Storm hits 2. And it's going to be a turret dropping 5. That's the first T1 turret dropping down in that bot lane right here, right now. 14.5 minutes in.
I mean, second T1. Third T1, technically.
Well,
I mean,
in the bot lane.
in the bot lane.
First turret
Okay,
in the
yeah.
bot lane.
I see what you're saying. Ghost Queen
Yeah.
going to be started up
Thank you
here.
for
It looks like
translating,
Oldschool's team are
Kelsey.
going for something a little bit desperate here, Humanist. 51 seconds on a Yates ultimate, though. We'll have to see if TTigers has been timing that. TTigers, though, a little bit caught up as Blanks is just knocking him down. We've got Mixi trying to play silence game. Can they hit it over the wall? No, they can't. So that will be Ghost Queen taken over by Oldskool. It's just a bit of a meaningless victory. Now they have to escape because here comes the rest of the squad trying to come on in and force and fight.
Don't tell them that victory is meaningless, Dowsey. These guys have been working hard for it. Shaded Talent with the joke. Oh, I don't even know what just happened.
He went flying across the map.
That was sick.
Unfortunately, it does mean Shared Talent is watching the game from afar for 20 seconds for longer. With this gold lead that's starting to mount up, it doesn't feel like it's much at 3,000, but it feels like it's everything when the team fights do break out. If it's compositional based or it's just the synergy that TTigers team is bringing on into these fights. So far, they just haven't been matched. I think it's Mixi really is the deciding factor. When you look at Mixi versus Blanks here, 131 CS to 98 of Blanks, pretty much a 30 CS lead advantage over him. He's got 3 of his offensive items set up. Moving into his fourth, he's got a bit of defense as well. And unfortunately, Blanks has just not been able to keep up with, former world champion Mixi here.
I mean, we're talking about Mixi right here, aka Miko. I mean, this guy, everybody knows you're going to try and go toe-to-toe with Miko. You're probably going to get put into the dirt. And, I think the thing we got to take away from this is Team Oldskool, they got in this matchup. They're not scared, at least they're going to give it a shot, even though it is incredibly hard to face up against a lineup of this caliber. That's Solar Storm doing essentially nothing as it ripped on through. Well, tried to paper rip on through those 3 there. This is Team Oldskool just on the back foot. Really, Dowsey looking for an opening, but not finding anything. And I got to credit over to, I think, TTigers captaining and getting the items that they have on the Trendwalker and the Lance. Is just, they're so tanky, so hard to take down.
Yeah, I mean, TTigers is essentially second support, and that's kind of how the junglers have been playing out here. It's new meta. If you're playing jungle, you're playing support, but you get to do some jungle. Is how it works, and it feels like it's working well. TTigers has fallen into this role very nicely. He's going to set up another team fight here.
So that was hilarious. Tiggs got the hook and chains, pulled him back as Cause used the Githian Wall to knock him back the other way into the wall. Just getting ping-ponged around, and honestly, this is Team TTigers just kind of styling on Oldskool squad over here.
Gaspy.
They're into the base, just blowing everybody up. Have some mercy. What if his mom is watching? And they're just going to get onto the base turret, onto the armory. I mean, do they even need to take this or just get onto the Vein Crystal? We're sure they'll do it quickly enough to take 2 armories down, then focus this down as a squad. Borderline easy game 1 here in the finals.
Yeah, it shows why TTigers currently is undefeated here in week 3 of the VPL Fantasy All-Stars here. And they make it look easy. It took 18 minutes. They did start the game off on the wrong foot, but they bring it back convincingly. Now 1-0 up in this best of 3 series. We'll have to see if they can close it out as we head over to game 2 shortly.
Yeah, with that, let's go ahead and throw it back over to the most handsome host and analyst I've ever seen. Munchballs and Tasty Bacon, take it away.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Now we are back on the studio, back on the desk. As you can see, we're missing a captain here. A captain, a player, an analyst. I don't even know what to call him. A man of many talents. Flash X has had to leave a little bit early. He was going to miss his flight because we've gone on so long today with the tiebreakers. He did bid you all farewell, and I'm sure you can give him some love on Twitter. Thank you so much for joining us today, Flash. But enough about Flash. Let's talk about the games because TTigers has started things off strong.
He has continued rolling undefeated thus far today. 4-0 right now. 1 more, and he will be the Tribe Week champion. And not only that, but Gaspy will be the only 3-time champion.
Yes.
If they can pull this off.
Gaspy is the man of the hour right now. He could be the first one to grab a hat trick. And right now, he's the only one with multiple wins. He's looking to keep on racking them up. Honestly, not the guy that I would have touted as the favorite for the whole of the VPL, but it's looking that way so far. So let's talk about what happened in this game. Because Oldskool, He was going neck and neck for a good while there. It felt like he had a good shot, but just couldn't quite make it happen towards the later stages.
Yeah, once we got towards the later stages of this game, TTigers' comp just came online. They were able to find pick after pick. So many times it was just isolating one target and saying, you could hear the comms. You'd be like, oh, I landed the hook. I'm pulling him in. Let's fight him. Let's get him out, because you pull one in with Turnwalker, then you have the Lance combat roll, Githian wall, knock them into a wall, and all of a sudden that one isolated target is just obliterated. So we'll see if that sort of combo does come through again as we get into draft for game number 2 of our finals, potentially the final game of the day, Munch.
We'll have to see if that's going to be the case. This is a $2,000 match right now. We'll see who's going to be able to walk away with that cash in their pockets as we kick things off here. Reza going to be the first ban of the draft. Not what I was expecting, but Oldschool's Vox taken off the board. Very much what you would expect here from the likes of TTigers. It worked in game number 1, and he's going to be sticking to his guns here in game number 2.
Yeah, we'll see if they go for the Inara ban once more. Again, this mobility has been so important to everyone, and it is going to still be available for now. We'll see if Tigers tries to take it away, or if they say, you know what, we know that Oldschool's not going to first pick this. We'll leave it open, and maybe we can grab it ourselves. But Flicker still being available as well is also one of those big mobility heroes that Flash and I were talking about earlier.
Yeah, Lorelei too is going to be on the table. Flicker will be banned away. Obviously, Churnwalker was banned there by Oldschool as well. So I'm curious what the first pick will be. It is that Lorelei. So mobility is king right now. This time it's going to be Oldschool with that advantage. And we'll see if Tigers has an answer available. What we've seen on second pick, though, on the red side often is a Celeste and a Lyra as a duo. We've seen mixed success of that kind of combo, but it's certainly available if they want it. Finn is what his whole team is basically voting for, though.
Yeah, a few people looking for the Lyra as well, and it is going to be the Finn-Lyra duo, likely to be starting all over, getting this Lyra in the mid lane. He started off the day with it, looking to now finish the day with it as well. We'll see if he can have that level of success.
Yeah.
Silvernail going to be likely picked up in this rotation.
Yeah, we'll see if that's going to be locked in, but the Lyra for starting all over, this is absolutely a signature pick for him. It's something that used to be popular many, many eons ago, and it's recently come back into popularity. Fantastic as a hard engage mage, which is not something that you say all too often, but huge amount of magic damage can be available, but also it's great at getting onto that backline and diving things like the Silvernail that was just locked in.
Yeah, absolutely. The Arden is going to make things a little bit difficult, and obviously when you get stuck in the bright bulwark, it can be very difficult to actually do anything as the weapon Arden, but if you can avoid that or you just wait for it to time out, this weapon Arden has been dominant over the past update or two, and so we're definitely going to be happy for it. The side of Oldschool is going to be pretty happy to have both Silvernail and Arden, and then you throw a Lorelei in the mix as well, and that is a really strong start to a comp.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the weapon Arden, honestly, it's not the kind of pick that you can contest. It's just, it is the best top laner. I don't think anyone will really argue with that statement. So when you can grab it, fantastic. Obviously, the reason it gets partway through the draft is top lane just isn't the most impactful role in the game right now. So while you guarantee that's a winning lane, maybe you forfeit a different pick in another lane elsewhere. The Yates, for example, is an incredibly strong pick in multiple lanes, but Oldschool going to be taking this Inara away. It's one of TTigers' comfort picks, but it's going to be against him this time.
And it's also, again, just getting that extra mobility for things like the Arden and the Silvernail. Pairing it with the Lorelei, this fixes kind of the biggest negative to a Silvernail is his lack of mobility, and you now have Lorelei pools and an Inara ultimate to give him that movement speed so that he can position throughout a fight, chase down a target if need be, and that's one of the reasons why these heroes are so commonly picked together. They do round out the composition with that Celeste, and so now side of TTigers, they need a weapon carry. Silvernail's off the board. It's going to be Kinetic.
Yeah, I mean, Kinetic just incredibly strong right now. Fantastic pickup. And something Mixi has been doing some serious work on. We saw him with the 2v1 last weekend, or last VPL. We saw him with a quadra kill earlier on today. Certainly a comfort pick for him. But looking at the compositions overall then, do we have a favorite coming on in here? Because TTigers is feeling strong to me.
I mean, TTigers is feeling real strong, but compositionally, I actually favor the composition that Oldschool squad has put together. I don't know if it'll be enough to overcome just how dominant the side of TTigers team has been, but I do like the composition a little bit better just because of all the mobility that they have and just the flat damage output that they're able to provide as well.
We'll see if that damage is going to be enough for them. They're one game down right now, but Oldskool was my prediction at the start of the day, so I'm going to be rooting for him here. It's time to jump into game number 2. This is a $2,000 money match at this stage. It's best of 3. TTigers has the advantage. It's time to pass it over to Humanist and Dowsy once more as we head into game number 2 of our finals.
With 2 of the most professional and spiciest drafts in all of Vainglory history, it potentially comes down to this one match for Team TTigers as they look to crown themselves the champion of Week 3 VPL Fantasy All-Stars. I'm Humanist, joined by Dowsy, and ready to get this game underway. Are we not, Sir Dowsy?
I mean, when you talk about drafts here, Humanist, you have to consider TTigers got his Yates starting all over, got his Lyra mix. She is playing a Kinetic, which earlier today landed him a quadra kill in a dire situation.
Yes,
draft is looking spicy for
Preach,
Team
Dowsy,
TTigers
preach.
here. Oldskool, he just hasn't looked as good on this this Celeste as he has on Vox, as he has on Adagio. First blood, well, it's going to be Delphi going down. We'll have to see if anything more comes from this as Gaspy's trying to survive.
Gaspy getting first blood here, no surprises. One of the most winningest VPL Fantasy All-Star players of all time coming through here with a big first blood in a very important matchup.
I mean, most winningest is the most correct term that you can use, and a very professional one at that, Humanist. Looks like Koz trying to come in to provide some talent. Shaded talent, you could say. Looks like he will get away.
Looks like he will get away. And Oldskool, and you have to wonder, has he forgotten which side of the map is his? Oldskool, a little bit disoriented. Yeah.
It's just a little bit unlucky.
Yeah, honestly, just a little bit unlucky to forget which side of the map is yours.
I mean, he played red side last game. Now he's playing on blue side. It's confusing.
Just a lot of games. A lot of games.
It's a lot of games. I mean, a lot of games did happen today, more so than normal.
Starting, giving the kissies over to Delphi as he's just punking him in the mid lane here. For some reason, it feels like the Sonara against the Lyra early on. It's not a great match.
At this point, though, when you consider what has gone down, already 1,000 gold lead over towards Team TTigers. If you're on Oldskool's team, heading into the second matchup, you've got to be behind on the mentality game. And starting the game off with 2 kills already over to really decisive players here. You know, Gaspy and, of course, TTigers himself. They're going to take those kills. They're going to turn them into to something that you really don't want to be going up against. Blanks is doing his best to farm the jungle up, but he has to worry about securing these minions under his turret. Doesn't want to lose out on the CS. So far, CS has been a bit of an issue for Blanks, especially when you compare the creep counts that Mixi is getting here.
Really hard to compare against a player like Mixi, though, honestly. Mixi just playing out of his mind at the top of his game, at the top of the league, and just really where it seems like, you know, everybody else just kind of stagnating. Mixi rising to the top.
Yeah, I mean, Mixi is one of the best players in the world, and has been for quite some time. Had a bit of a off period.
Yeah, a couple years of off period, but not a big deal there. As Quibble's gonna come raining on through, Celeste gets dropped on down, and Team Tigers building up some momentum in the first 4 minutes of this game. Looks like Blinks is gonna be next on the menu. How do they do it? Get over here!
It's just this Yates that TTigers has. He's shown already on multiple occasions that if he is allowed to play Yates, then he's going to take over the game. It's not just something you just give over to TTigers without considering that you've pretty much given the win over to his team. It is such an impactful character. It's such an impactful hero with massive CC and the ability to appear anywhere globally on the map. It's a jungler's dream here, Humanist, and TTigers shows us consistently why.
Just really the true dream. I love the way they're playing this, just essentially double captaining this. So much utility, 2 pulls whenever they can do it. Not only that, Dowsy, 2 pulls. You have the Lyra on your team. You can go forward, you can pull them back to you. I don't even see how there's a chance for Oldskool in this matchup.
Yep, with the Adagio ultimate as well. If they're coming to you, then you can essentially turn that fight around. But like you mentioned, with the Adagio ultimate, if you're going forward, then there's just not much you can do. So much utility, so much damage with the Lyra, as well as the Adagio, as well as the, of course, kinetic, which is going to be providing your main damage source here. There's just a lot of ways that TTigers squad start to turn things on its head, and with the gold lead already starting to mount that first turret down in the top side at 5 minutes, it's just not looking good for Oldskool. And here comes the first real big engage.
Yeah, nice aggressive play moving forward. It's Neon Fire absorbing the brunt of the damage. He should go down here, but I don't see anybody else falling. So yeah, there's Arden, the first one, going to go down. And let's go ahead and point this out here. Frostburn picked up for Oldskool as his first item. This item was recently buffed, was it not, Elgin?
Yeah, it was recently buffed, a bit more crystal power given over to it in the 3.8 mid patch update. I guess Oldskool feels like they need to have AoE slows coming on in. They want to try and slow down the Finn. They want to try and slow down the Yates, really stop them from moving aggressively onto their backline. It's more about utility than anything here. Oldschool's Helogenesis placement can pretty much dictate team fights, save people out. Not to mention, let's remember, you've got this Inara and the Silver Nail here, which will allow you to kind of charge onto the backline and slow down with the Frostburn.
Gaspy dead?
Gaspy is dead. Went for a bit of a hero play with the Thirst of Judgment, but unfortunately, no hero was found.
Yeah, not no hero not activated. And I was also going to point out, like, before that happened, that he's been holding his own in the lane pretty well. Oldskool pull back in mid, but he's got a broomstick to hop onto. He's going to be just fine there. But he's been doing a good job. I think the Adagio actually doing quite well. He stays at range, has that self-heal, so he can just keep himself in the lane, and has done a good job thus far.
Yeah, certainly has, and he just felt like he may have been able to pick up a kill or two, but with Silvernae's ultimate able to knock people back, and the mobility that Inara provides. Oh, speaking of Inara, here she comes with her ultimate.
Here she comes with her ultimate once again. Not able to get enough done there, though. Still 5-1 in favor of Tig's squad. And, Mixi just holding it down on the top lane. He's just stays here. This is, he's created a dead lane for Team Oldskool over here. This is the lane that you have to move into to keep it from getting pushed. But if you move into this lane, you're most likely going to die, aka the dead lane. TTigers finds the pullback. Neon Fire, ooh, almost going down. Mixi will show mercy on that. Such a nice guy.
I mean, if they allow Arden to go back, then they get the turret. And if Arden sticks around, then they kill Arden, and then they get the turret. It's a win-win scenario here for TTigers and Mixi. And like you mentioned, Mixi has just been a consistent threat, always in this lane, pushing down, split pushing. When you look at Blanks versus Mixi again, it's 20 CS already, 8 minutes in the favor of Mixi, and it's just, that is the kind of difference that turns games around for you.
A monster. Speaking of monster, Gaspy stunned up against the wall, trying to go toe-to-toe as the fight breaks out into the river. It's Oldskool to get put down there. Nice call to get in there, starting all over, playing aggressive as ever. TTigers rotates around the bottom side of the wall. He's found 3 members of Team Oldskool.
He got out!
Uses his ult to get out of there. Who is this guy?
This is TTigers.
Unbelievable save.
Absolutely lovely play coming out of TTigers. And I mean, TTigers for quite some time has been known as one of the most mechanically gifted junglers in North America, and he's adapted so well to the 5v5 meta, being able to put himself at the forefront here. Here's an engage onto Gaspy, should be in a kill.
Gaspy does get a heal, and it's going to be Silvernail getting that one. Blanks, nice. Will survive with that Crucible. And even turns around trying to get a couple last hits before he gets himself out of here.
I mean, Cos just waiting for Starting All Over to arrive.
Yeah, just buying time. Look at that! Dun 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 dun! Starting All Over is here. Have no fear. Starting stays at range, trying to get a couple basic attacks off. Now the Sigil starting. He wants to get on Delvia. This is just an awkward situation. The Arcane Passage timed out, and, well, you're done.
Really good stuff coming through from these guys so far. And at 7-3 with 1,000 gold in the lead. Feels like there's not much Oldskool can do to bring this one back here. Does finish his Dragon's Eye, though. It's a pretty big power spike for the old Celeste, but due to the fact that he's gone Frostburn, maybe behind on power. We'll have to see how that does play out in these team fights, as the Ghost Wing is going to start to become a threat, and Cos is going to lose his life in this
about
jungle.
some 1 versus 4 down here in the river. I don't see how... Oh, yeah, he's dead. So the Ghost Wing going to be started up over here, down the bottom half of this map. Once again, we say... You know, where in the world is Mixi? Let's play a little game here. Now say, oh, he's in the top lane. We can quit playing that game. And now back over to Ghostwing. Versus Judgment comes out from Gatsby. Find the stun. No, the block is still there. But they have applied a lot of damage. They want to chase forward. Oh, that I saw. Tiggs, we all saw that miss.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's okay. Because, you know, Mixi here is laying down a lot of pressure in the top side. It's forcing a backport and a rotation coming through from the rest of the team. As long as he escapes Neon Fire's gauntlet. Okay, well, that was kind of the one thing he needed to do to survive in this top side. He will fall down.
Hey, that hurt. That solar storm there, that's not nice. Neon Fire. We'll go ahead and blood him there. Not even using talents, able to get that one.
Yeah, but they're able to secure the spot lane turret. So ultimately, losing stuff across the map, but gaining stuff. TTigers never going empty-handed here. His team constantly trying to keep the gold back in their favor. This Ghost Wing, though secured for Team Oldskool, we'll have to see if they're actually able to do much with it. I mean, ultimately, when you're behind, you're just getting those Ghost Wings for the gold and the denial factor. You don't necessarily need to make a play off it every time. If TTigers was to have got that Ghost Wing, then who knows what kind of advantages their team could have got. So denying is good here. And ultimately, really, with the gold deficit only being at 1,000 gold, Oldschool's team isn't too far out of this. You know, it requires a lot of play around their team. There's a lot of CC they have to dodge around, the Finn, the Yates, all of that. But if they are able to play around it, blow up Mixi quickly, then there's a lot of potential here for Oldschool's team to win team fights.
Yeah, there is definitely a lot of potential for them to win some team fights, but I gotta tell you, my spidey senses have been tingling, Dalsy, and I'm just gonna let you know they're saying TTigers is about to just wreck this old school squad here, and it's gonna be pretty devastating when it happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, if Oldschool squad is able to keep together, use this in our ult to put blanks in the right position, give Shaded Talent the room and the gauntlet plays, then they're not too out of this. I mean, everyone is kind of expecting TTigers to win this, but
Cause leaving himself out, you know, in a vulnerable position, he's gonna be okay. I mean, it's just him and starting. You look at bottom, Gaspy's shoving this lane, Mixi stopping the lane up in top, and they leave themselves in such a position where they're gonna get kind of engaged upon split up here. Team Oldschool loses one in the mid lane, potentially one in bottom as well. Looks like nobody in bottom will go down, but it's just really interesting the way Team TTigers split across the map and got so much done with it.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Yates' ultimate that can make you get from one side of the map to the other instantaneously, you can afford to play in this way, you know, afford to have the 2-3 split push, and it's working out for them.
They literally both threw their hooks at the same time there and got them blocked off.
That's just a bit of miscommunication.
What are you gonna do? Oh, here's this gauntlet we've been talking about, Dowsey. First, right in the thick of things, but it's going to be blocked off. This is a bloodbath, 2-for-1 traded. Now Cause trying to find the Quibble stuns in the choke point. Tiggs, he wants to go and help out his kinetic, but not able to do so. Mixi melts on down, and now it's just Cause gonna try and buy some time. He eventually will go down. Tiggs is the only member that should survive through this.
Yeah, huge plays coming through, and I think Crucible is available for CODs. Correct me if I'm wrong in that fight. Maybe you just purchased it up towards the end of that fight. That's why it looked like it was available. But with no Crucible to allow them to escape that gauntlet, really devastating stuff there. In a choke point against the Celeste, everyone just had to take Helogenesis after Helogenesis. The Frostburn making sure they didn't move too far away from their initial marks, and that was all she wrote. That's a huge team fight that just showcases that Oldschool's team have what it takes to bring this back in their favor, but they have to continue playing like this if they're going to stand a chance.
Oldschool doing a good job to keep up this game, but we look at it starting all over. You know, he's out farming him once again. They are at the same level, item progression, you know, fairly similar, but starting just about a half a step ahead consistently here.
Half a step. It's not much. at this point. We're at 15 minutes, and it doesn't feel like anyone's decisively in the lead.
Oh, no. TTigers. Team TTigers decisively in the lead, according to the Spidey senses.
According to the Spidey senses, according to the 10-9, according to the 2000 gold lead. Yeah.
Look at everything they're doing. Okay, so consistently, what is Team TTigers doing? They're leaving 2 or 3 in the mid lane, 1 or 2 down in bottom, and constantly Mixi up and top. Once again, the same thing is happening right here, right now, blowing up Shaded Talent to start the fight. If they get together as a unit with this kinetic, now this has to be part of the play. Gatsby wouldn't just leave himself hanging like this. Gatsby with the Versus Judgment winds up. He's down. And his teammates are going to... Oh, Kaz took the Arcane Passage back the other way. He gets the pull into Shaded Talent! What a hook! What a forced accord! I mean, who could have predicted that one?
Certainly not Shaded Talent, unfortunately.
Certainly not. My goodness.
Now the Ghost Wing going to be started up here by Team TTigers. Looks like Blanks wants to engage.
Yeah, they surely do, but Blank's taking a whole bunch of damage. He's down, and I don't know, players are just bouncing around, but the gauntlet does come down here. Ghost Wing's going to be thwarted, it looks like. His team also, Oldskool stays on the backside of this fight. This is exactly what he needs to do with his Celeste, but a 3-man stun, come on, Kaz! Have some mercy on these guys. Delphi able to reposition the Gatsby with the self-heal and into the buff. Look at it, he's got the damage. This is the Sepia Daja going to pound down over here. Neon Fire gets the splash down to get himself out of there, not even really needed. He's still thinking about Ghostwing, but there are about 1,000,001 scout camps they have to take out first.
Yeah, I mean, this is still not working out for the side of Team Oldskool. Every little engage they get, every little good play they get seems to be thwarted. Feels like TTigers.
Every
it's true,
move you make, every black claw take, I'll be pushing you.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, isn't it, Humanist?
It's so hard
for Team Oldskool.
Right now, really is.
Right now, they're throwing their best at it, but they're not quite able to find the team fights that require it. And, you know, some of these team fights that they're getting advantages in via misposition and mistakes, and yeah, they're capitalizing off of them.
They found
Speaking of,
what causes there? You know, you tried to take Gatsby down, but team player Mr. Cause is there. Now this is them as a unit. This is, oh, I'm tingling all over. The engage starts off. This feels like a TTigers engage really going well, but it's starting all over, taking big damage. Solar Storm comes through from Oldskool. They stay at range. Supernova chunking through Team TTigers. Neon Fire joining the fight. Look at TTigers on the bottom. He's got him rounded up here. Sheepdogging him. TTigers. He is on the next level play. Gatsby winds up with a defensive verse zoning for his team. These guys playing like they've been together for 3 years in the competitive scene here. Cause sucked back in that arcane passage as starting trolls his teammate. Moving forward, they drop the Arden, now looking for Blanks, and Oldskool splitting a little bit of damage, but then on to Blanks. Blanks goes down, Oldskool will fall as well. That's a 3 for nothing. Wolfmaw off the mark, and the fish food almost finds TTigers. But that was the fight of all fights for Team TTigers as they come out on top indeed.
Yeah, but there's nothing going to come from this, unfortunately. We're kind of just stuck in limbo here, Humanists, where both these teams are throwing punches at each other but not getting objectives. Finally, we see the Ghost Wing started up here. Mixi and starting all over with the help of Cause should be able to take this one down. There is a potential for a steal as Delphi and Shaded Talent move on in. It would require pinpoint accuracy, and it looks like Shaded Talent's the one being pulled over the wall.
You want to play games? Get over here. We'll play some games. Shaded Talent, you want to go play some more games? It's a game of try to run away, fool. You know not what you do. Now, Delphi, get back over here, Delphi. Oh, they took the arcane passage the other way. Delphi, 3,000 IQ. Now in the jungle. Remember everybody, pro tip, Nara is a jungle-based hero, and with that, he will be able to most likely get himself out of here indeed. What a professional play.
Delphi escapes, unfortunately, can't be the same for Shaded Talent. That is the Ghost Wing secured here, and now hopefully we'll see TTigers team starting to make some moves towards this this game. It's been about 5 minutes of back and forth here, Humanists, where both teams are kind of just fought in the jungle but not really done anything with it. But with Black Claw started up, now we're starting to see the cogs turning, the wheels moving here, and TTigers going to put Oldskool into a compromising position, forcing those boots, which means that it's going to be even harder to start up and engage here. Not to mention, Blanks is just farming down in the bot lane.
No boots. They make the call. They go into Oldskool. He stays alive. Eva Harvest doing work. He will eventually just get popped, though, because you mentioned it, dude. No boots, Dowsey. That was such a smart call. Tiggs, another Wolfmont as Gaspy puts that Arden down into the dirt. Neon Fire never had a chance. And, dude, that's such... You honed in on it. That the boots is so important. I think people don't realize enough. Once that's on cooldown, you're stuck.
Yeah, well, Celeste is one of those heroes that once her mobility is gone, in the form of boots, that's her only mobility, then she is vulnerable. If you can engage on top of her, she is vulnerable. If you get on top of her, you're invulnerable. With outshaded talent there to provide momentum, without Delphi's ultimate to get her out, there's just nothing she can do there. And either allows you to get the Black Claw or engage her fine. It looks like TTigers went for both here. They have their cake and eat it too.
So look at Blanks getting the split push down in the bottom lane here. He's going to get a base turret for himself. We'll see if they port back. His team needs to stay alive. The worst thing they can do is die right now. Solar Storm gets a nice chunk of heal onto
running onto Mixi.
That water wall. Yeah, Mixi in a little bit deeper. He's going to die, right? Mixi's going to die. If he lives through this, he's the greatest player of Vainglory all time. He's dead, okay. I'll take back that statement. But he's still playing pretty well. Double kill comes through over here for the Silver Nail. It's the defense from Team Oldskool mounts. Blackclaw still on that mid turret, able to take it down finally, starting all over. Drops the bulwark, turns around, trying to get the damage on to Delphi. Looks like he's got it. Arcane Passage on in. He probably is going to juke back the other way. No, he boots directly away. I think Starting's going to die here as well. Neon Fire should have this fairly easily. In fact, he does. Surprise, surprise.
Really impressive team fight coming out of Team Oldskool. I think that Frostburn on this list is actually starting to be pretty impactful. Paired with the Dragon's Eye and the Eve of Harvest to sustain. They do have to take down this Black Claw, obviously, and stop the Bane Crystal from dying. Teleport Boots is going to be a game-ending play. No, they're going for the push.
Wow. They were going for the push. 20 seconds before they respawn. You got 4 members from Team Oldskool deep in the base. Versus Judgment. A lot of damage. Neon Fire. Tomb Man stun on the gauntlet wall. I mean, what is going on right now? Dowsey, this is the turnaround of all turnarounds. When we least expected it, when the spidey senses were not tingling, Team Oldskool turns it up to 1,100 as they take the victory and send us into a Game 3. Who would have thunk it?
No one saw that coming. The teleport boots play,
you saw it.
Set up by Blanks coming through as well. Holy cow, Oldskool's here to win.
Holy cow, indeed, that was truly crazy. And what a way to end this game. It felt like it was incredibly going the way of TTigers. But with that, we have a Game 3 and we got to get ready for it. Let's send it back over to the analyst desk. These guys can go and break that down.
Well, Tasty Bacon, we just watched 22 minutes of TTigers winning the game and then 21 seconds of Oldskool saying, actually, I want to take this win. Give me some teleport boots.
Incredible game. What a way to finish it, too. Like, TTigers, it felt like he has complete control. They get the Black Claw, they push in, they get the armory, then they overstay just a little bit too long. And because of that split push work that had been done prior, they're able to just teleport boots into the enemy base and finish off the game. Absolutely incredible stuff. Neither of these two players wants to be the one that goes home empty-handed.
Apparently not. Oldskool with great presence of mind to make that call in the end, but we're going to be jumping into our 12th game of Vainglory in just a moment. Today has been ridiculous. We went the full round robin. We went into a tiebreaker, and now we're going to have a full best of 3 for our final. I was so sure that TTigers had got that one in the bag, that everything seemed to be going well for him, but I mean, how does it fall apart like that?
It's just that little bit of over-aggression. We hear teams all the time be like, okay, no, let's back off a little bit. Don't get greedy. We don't want to throw here. And they just got too greedy. They got too aggressive down the stretch with that Black Claw push and allowed then Oldskool and company to just finish off the couple of kills and then teleport boots into the base. And they just couldn't win that fight. Like, it was too, everyone was kind of coming into it staggered.
Yeah, honestly, when that game ended, I saw Oldskool take off his headset and he looked at me, made eye contact with me, and he looked just as confused as I did. I don't think he was expecting that win to come out. Honestly, it's the kind of game where you're kind of you've already counted your chickens. You already know that it's going the other way, but then just sees the opportunity, makes the play happen.
My favorite part of it is they come back through, and Oldskool walks past TTigers and goes, "Tigs, you're so bad." Like, it's a game that he was losing all the way up until the very end. He's just like, yeah, no, it wasn't even in doubt.
One thing worth mentioning, though, was TTigers Yates is absolutely ridiculous. He lands every single pull. His ult is unbelievable. Listening to him communicate to his team during those fights, the way that he just controls and manipulates the fight on Yates, it's honestly a beauty to behold.
And like so many times you watch a game and wonder, you know, are they actually doing some of this stuff on purpose, or are they just throwing abilities and it just happens to connect? Now that we can hear them, it is 100% on. Like, there's a fight where he's like, "Oh, you're low. All right, I'm ulting to the back of the fight. Arden just gauntlet. I'm gonna pull him out of the gauntlet." Like, every single one of those hooks is calculated. It's absolutely insane. We'll see if he even gets his hands on Yates this time around.
We'll have to see. It's certainly a priority pick at this stage. Vox will be the first ban by the side of TTigers, completely unsurprised by that one coming on through. We'll see what Oldskool is going to answer with. Looks like a Churnwalker ban is going to be the selection for him. So I'm curious to see how this 12th game of the day is going to pan out. This one is guaranteed the end of the tournament, though. No more resets, no more tiebreakers.
Celeste ban. So it's always kind of funny how we talk about how various live events, you see kind of its own meta develop. We've kind of had our own meta develop over the course of today. Like, we've had so many games that players have just changed and adjusted to how they're drafting to fit just specifically the way everyone else is playing today. So we have now the Celeste and the Vox both getting banned away, the Lorelei getting taken off, Silvernail now being first picked. So much priority being put onto this carry role.
Absolutely. I'm really curious what Oldskool is going to lock in here. His mid lane matchup up against starting all over. It's a tough matchup, that's for sure. Locking in that Lorelei, you'd assume, that Lyra, you'd assume that's going to be going over to Shaded Talent. That's typically been the way. We've not seen Oldskool take that as a CP mid laner just yet. But I'm curious to see what he will lock in when it comes to that mid lane matchup.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. It looks like right now they want the Inara to come through, and it will
not really
be
surprising.
Inara getting picked. Yeah, like you said, not at all surprising that they go ahead and take this. Otherwise, it would have almost certainly been picked up by TTigers in this next rotation.
Yeah, that pickup of the Inara, it's a great hero in itself, but it's also just a denial. Taking that away from TTigers. It's the same with the Lyra. Takes it away from starting all over. You're not only getting strong picks for yourselves, you're denying them for your opponents. That's what we like to see in the draft. It's going to be a Finn and an Arden locked in for the side of TTigers. So even though these comfort picks are being taken, still a very strong composition. But the same could be said for Oldskool right now.
Yates, where's the Yates? I thought for sure that Oldskool was going to go ahead and grab the Yates, especially with the Finn already being on the side of TTigers, but maybe they just don't go for it at all. I would be shocked if we don't get Yates coming through here. I would assume that they're going to pick themselves a mid laner and then Yates. So Idris is your mid laner. It's going to be going for the Crystal Idris, at least to start. Maybe go into that hybrid that we've seen some players kind of go for, but I feel like this should be a Yates pick. It would fit into their composition extremely well.
Yep. TTigers would be able to get it.
Yeah, TTigers playing it has been exceptional with it. Gives you that frontliner, the Finn Yates combo. The only concern I have with this team is Silvernail does not have that mobility increase from anyone else on this composition.
Obviously, aside from War Treads, we are going to see by looks into the Reza to round out the composition from the side of Oldskool. I do just want to quickly shout out Koz as well before we get on into this last game, because his Finn has been exceptional so far this tournament. His pulls, especially over walls, have been really fantastic. Clean, but also unexpected by the opponent. He holds that pull a lot longer than a lot of other captains do in the fights, and then once the Crucible is down, once there is no block available, that's when he strikes.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried for TTigers team this go-around because the composition that Oldskool has put together has so much dive and so much mobility, and you don't really see that matched on the side of TTigers. They have some engage with the the hooks and the fin pulls and things like that, but it's still going to be so much easier for a Flicker Lyra composition to be able to dive onto the map.
All right, it is time for the very last game of the day. We're going to round out our finals between Oldskool and TTigers for one last time. I'm going to give it over to Dowsy and Humanist.
This is it. This is what it all comes down to here in week 3 of the VPL Fantasy All-Stars, as Team TTigers go up against Team Oldskool, tied up 1-1 in a winner-takes-all format. Once again, guys, my name is Humanist. I'm joined by Dowsy. Thank you for staying up so late, Dowsy, and casting these matches, doing a great job at it. But man, this game, it all comes down to this.
It does come down to this. Can Team TTigers bring it back after an almost flawless run during this All-Stars event? Or is it going to be Oldskool with the upset victory here in Game 3 of this finals? Everyone is spread out across the map, but it does look like Team TTigers are putting down a lot of work as TTigers versus Neon Fire.
Yeah, this is a bit of a trade, but Tiggs gets himself back just in the nick of time. Gatsby was making the move over as well. I think he would have been fine. Shaded Talon almost going down as well, as both of these guys just contesting right to the very edge.
Yeah, you want to try and contest those buffs, but obviously you don't want to go off for your life. Giving that first blood can spell disaster in the snowball game, and currently everyone is playing a little bit more respectfully. We got Oldskool moving on into the CP Lyra as well, something a little bit different. We'll have to see how he plays it out here. That means that starting all over is on the Idris here, and his CP Idris looked pretty clean when we saw it earlier on today. Looking forward to seeing it again.
Now, I'm not saying that Oldskool can't play the Lyra. I just don't remember seeing him play it a lot. And
right.
I mean, history tells us, like, if you're not practiced on that CP Lyra, you tend to just kind of fall on your face.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely don't know when the last time Oldskool played the CP Lyra. Maybe he's been playing in solo queue. Maybe this is something they do in their scrims. Chances are it's something that Oldskool feels comfortable with, because otherwise you wouldn't be picking up. It's such a deciding Game 3 matchup here.
Well, I just had my stats man in my ear tell me this is actually his first time playing it competitively.
There you go.
And that's a false fact for you, but it sure sounded real. Oldskool right back in the lane, just in the nick of time, as Starting was about to shove this under his turret. He would have lost a lot of farm there. Just a nice rotation. These guys on point after 6 hours of playing.
Do you want another false fact here?
Oh, dude, I love fun facts. I'm American.
Yes. That's tickled me. I don't even have a comeback, Humanist. You've broken me.
Yeah, I'll tickle you. Sure will, buddy. Now, we're 3 minutes in. No first blood just yet. Simply very basic rotations around. Nobody trying to break the meta. Nobody really trying to set the meta. The meta feels like it has been set through this event itself, doesn't it feel like it does?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously Yates has been a big part of this meta so far. Finn almost seen in every game. Lyra almost in every game as well. Here it is, that pull onto Oldskool.
Nice pullback. Oldskool taking a lot of damage. Healing flask. Can he boost himself out of here? Come on, get in there. They're not able to do so. And Pimp Neon Fire able to slide out towards the east side as well. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, no, and it's quite interesting because Starting All Over didn't want to get involved with that. It was more important for him to make sure he was staying on top of the farm. Potentially, the extra damage could have been there, but obviously Idris here at the early starts of the game does not have the range. Oh my goodness, Idris is taking a lot of damage as well.
Starting really playing with the gift of fire over here. And Shaded Talon able to bully him backwards. Cause doing a good job as well. Do that Quibble just chunking through Oldskool. I tell you, man, low-level Quibble, that'll catch you off guard in the early game.
Yeah, certainly will. Cos looks like he may go down, but has the flask to keep himself alive. The range advantage that comes out of a Lyra and a Dodger early is pretty devastating to CP Idris and, of course, Finn. But once Starting All Over gets those crystal bits into his inventory, starts scaling up the CP, then he's going to be okay. You got TTigers here to push down the lane. Make sure that this gets pushed into the turret. Try and deny any farm that potentially could come through from Oldskool, from the wave that is. Looks like Delphi's here to clean it up, since Delphi's giving up the gold ambience that that Oldschool's now taking.
Yeah, that's just very nice, efficient rotations over, of course, from Delphi into that mid lane, and Blanks and Oldskool through the jungle, as you mentioned. Delphi finds Gatsby, gives him a little tap on the booty as he gets himself out of there. Delphi's got to get back to his own lane as that's being shoved forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, it's just going to be back and forth at the moment until these crystal treant buffs spawn in just a little bit. We're not going to see any aggressive plays. You can see Oldskool is waiting. Going to try and purchase some items at the shop here, getting ready for this invade. Cos is set up to move on into the crystal tree buff. I have to see if anyone makes any plays though. Neon Fire is contesting. But as a Reza, you're not really going to go too deep, especially when you've got the threat of a Yates to pull you in.
Quibble chunks through Neon Fire. That would be fine, but it's everybody else he should be worried about.
Oh, wow.
Pulled in. He can't do anything, man. You might as well just stand there and disconnect.
That was the Quibble, I think. No, it wasn't the Quibble. It was the... I can't remember what it's called.
It was the Wolfmaw and then the Polite Company. It's like he got pulled.
The Polite Company, exactly.
Yeah. But it looked like a bigger pull than normal for Polite Company. So
it's because of the way mobility works. But look at this fight.
Big damage coming out here. Team TTigers taking a lot, but they spread it out on everybody. Turn around, Quibble onto a couple. Cause is the only member to drop there, surprisingly enough. But like maybe more. Gaspy makes the rotation down from the top lane. You're late. You're late by like 10 seconds, Gaspy. And if you die, I swear everybody should never let him live it down. TTigers back into the front line, starting all over, gets slingshot from a Vanguard on in, trying to get his key damage out there. Delphi with the boots though and the speed, able to reposition and stay alive. What a thing of beauty.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that if you have the CC lock coming through from TTigers and you have the damage starting to scale up from this Idris, then you're going to have a pretty devastating combo here. If you can lock anyone in place and that chakram passes through you twice, it's going to be pretty hard damage coming as well. Really exciting stuff as we start to see these team fights break out. So far, it's all fairly calm and standard, right?
Yeah,
on this,
God, I don't know how standard it is, but it's very calm over here. And Gaspy able to find himself one as they commit onto the turret. I felt like maybe he goes for Delphi as well. Probably a bad call now that I think Oldskool and Shaded Talent were moving down from mid.
I mean, Blanks literally ran into the turret there. I don't know if there was a connection issue for him, but
Blanks was like, I'm getting that turret. Plus, this is the fastest way home.
Mooncloak to the Ghost Wing here.
Mooncloak on in here. TTigers doing a good job to kind of be the front line for his team. Of course, Cause giving that Polite Company onto everybody. Just that extra added durability is such a big deal for his squad. Nobody wants to chase through those stakes. The Mixtry's dropping down. But just really nice moves across the map. Now, Gaspy, he gets that top turret. That's the trade, as Blanks are just committed for his. And Gaspy will get chased through the jungle. Most likely will go down here.
Yeah, no, you would think so. Here it is. Does end up losing his life here. Just on the wrong side of the map for Gaspy, as tends to be the way. Unfortunately, when you're in the top side, sometimes you make plays. Now we're going to this invade, starting all over, looking for a kill onto Shaded Talent.
Shaded Talent versus Judgment comes out. Really not much to come of it, though. It does
this flame from Neon Fire.
Team TTigers back now. Neon Fire has joined the fight.
Oh, no.
That's Oldskool getting blown up to start things off. And Neon Fire, you got to run, but get back over here. Cause lands that forced chord. That's 2 kills for Team TTigers. 8.5 minutes in. They'll get on the a couple more kills on the scoreboard. Now 4-2 for Team TTigers.
Yeah, really nice stuff there. Unfortunately, it just felt like for Oldschool's team, they felt overconfident with the flank that a weapon power Reza outputs. Not as devastating, I feel, as a CP Reza. You know, at least with the CP Reza, you know you're gonna instantly burst someone. Weapon power Reza obviously has a bit more sustain coming through, and we've seen so consistently so far that weapon power Reza has been a bit more of a premier pick. But you have to play him a little bit different. It doesn't have as many the same amount of strengths. Oldskool just kind of found himself on the wrong side of that fight.
Delphi trying to be a nuisance. Well, he is being a nuisance. Nice attempt there on the Wolfsmaw by Tiggs. Dowsey, Twitch chat giving some official notifications over here that next week on hashtag coming back will be Kolomik as well as Hardek. And if that is true, that's pretty hype.
I mean, we'll have to find out. Obviously, with the way the All-Star event works, anyone can sign up. If they're high elo, in Vainglory, you can sign up to be drafted on in. I mean,
are you going to sign up for next week?
I mean, I don't play on NA, so I can't.
Do you have to play on NA?
See, I'm a boosted EU player, Humanist. That's the issue.
Yeah. Well, I knew that's how you started, but I thought maybe you evolved since then. Yeah, we joke, we tease, force the cord blocked off, not gonna happen. Shaded Talent's hanging around here with his Crucible. This is a man that will not miss.
So far, things are starting to look good for Team TTigers, but we said that earlier in the previous game, and Oldschool's team just kind of chipped away and found one opening in, and they were able to execute off of it.
Fight breaks out, Shaded Talent taking the brunt of the damage, but that is one tanky hero with a pumpkin on his head, as they're gonna just try and slow the push that will inevitably take down the turret. Oldskool pulled in, Arcane Passage back. That's why you gotta like that Arcane Passage, you know? And that's why I always, as a Finn player, I hate pulling those kinds of heroes. I hate to pull that Lyra, right? I hate to pull a Glaive. Like, anybody with that really fast mobility escape, it's just so hard to lock them down.
Yeah, absolutely. Cos trying to hold everyone back. TTigers is cross-mapping as well. In fact, he's just engaging. They want to go on here.
Overdriven Quibble in the choke point. He
Starting
had a 3-man stun, now a 2-man stun. Shaded Talent winds up with the verse. It's going to be blocked off there as he goes down. I don't think even anything came through. Starting just going ham. But as a triple kill, actually, was that for Mixi, the triple kill?
Yeah, Mixi.
Yeah, Mixi.
I mean, starting set that up. A huge play coming in with the chakram, just teared through the health bars. Actually able to get involved as well, and they couldn't go left, they couldn't go right, they were kind of surrounded there, the Finn keeping them all locked down with the Plight Company and Quibbles. So much CC, and this is going to be an armory turret taken in 11.5 minutes. There's nothing you can do about it.
It's Mixi's 4-0 right now. This is like the quietest just domination that I've seen in a long time.
I mean, he just got through those kills just now, but yeah, you're right, Mixi has just kind of been so consistently good this week.
Just really
really stable, yeah, absolutely. You can rely on him. He's been a consistent force in the drafts and the games he's played. Gaspy, I mean, he's a little bit caught out here. He's going to use the gauntlet to escape.
Barely. Get played, kids. Gaspy over
Stuns
the wall.
on the way out.
Styling on him right there. Probably clipped it himself. The Sky. He knows what he's doing over here. Scout cam goes down. Sigil as well. I think they see them. Now, the call has been made. This is a very clear call from Team Oldskool. Get in there. Blow them up. Gaspy does not have that gauntlet. He already burned that earlier. Gaspy's dead. Essentially dead weight for his team. Are they going through that Arcane Passage on purpose? Because it's hard to tell.
I don't know. I think they're just messing around at this point. Humanists, they kind of know that they're so far in the lead that they can kind of have a little bit of fun here, you know. Go for this Ghost Wing now. You're going to take that. The Black Claw will be next, you would feel. I really like it when you know that TTigers' team is ahead, they start to do things on the map, right? They don't really leave things to chance.
Yeah, not leaving anything to chance. In fact, not much crit being built up for their team, that RNG. Not much of a factor over here on their side. It's all about just those fundamentals, being those mechanical gods, making the strategical plays and kind of abusing their intelligence.
Yeah, absolutely. And abusing their ability to just kind of outplay their opponents. You know, we kind of talked about the mechanical ability that TTigers roster has, you know, starting all over. TTigers himself, you look at Mixi down the bot lane. Cos has just been pretty consistent so far. So many good mechanical players here, and they can be comfortable with their ability in lane to outperform their opponents, but in team fights just to have the right reflexes. It's really important when you're playing in a tournament where you don't have any synergy with each other, at least built up synergy, that you can just rely on your reflexes here. You see Cos and Mixi just moving on into the jungle, trying to get that deep vision, trying to get that weaponry onto Mixi so they can start fighting. Oldskool's been pulled back. I don't think anyone was in range to really do anything about it.
I like it. I mean, they feel very confident, comfortable moving in. They got that Ghost Wing buff, and it's super sweet with, of course, like Mixi on the Silvernail. He can just drop his stakes down. Choke points become so much harder to get through. And now a defensive Arcane Passage back. But what's going to happen is Tiggs was in a vulnerable position. He'll go to hold himself back. Mixi isolated. This is the last hero you want to leave by himself isolated on the side. Team Oldskool sees it. They pull the trigger. Now, Cos is the one taking the majority of the damage, but he's pretty tanky. He turns around, pops Delphi, puts him into the dirt. Shaded Talent winds up with the first judgment. Going to be blocked off. Damage does come through, but no stun lands. Neon Fire. Another form detonates himself back, starting all over. He's turned up. He wants some kills. If starting can get on a target, he will. Right here, that's going to be a Shimmer Strike to reposition. easy kill right there as Lyra gets shredded through. I don't know if it's a basic attack or chakram that got that kill, but the damage was there.
Really powerful stuff coming out. I mean, everything got used here by the side of Oldskool to take down Mixi, and they kind of forgot that starting all over on this CP Idris is doing a lot of work. He's going to take down Shaded Talent here. Interesting build as well coming out of starting all over. I wanted to touch on this in the previous time we saw him play Idris because he had weapon power in his inventory. I was like, no way is he going towards a weapon power item. He is. He's got himself the Serpent's Mask for the lifesteal here, which is allows him to, I think, have both his divergent paths unlocked. Yeah, he does. Look at that. Using his Shroud Step, instantaneous blink allows him instantaneous movement around the map.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, pretty dope.
It's pretty dope. I like it. Kind of take, and this was actually something I was gonna ask you. I think like 2 games ago when we saw, I don't know how long ago it was when we saw that Idris before. I was like, you know, that's kind of split build. Like, was that something that you ever did?
Yep. Yeah, I used to muck around with it.
And is that like you either do that when you're like very far behind or ahead, or can you do that when you're anywhere in the middle?
I mean, it just depends. If I was going to do it, I'll do it. Like, Idris is a powerful hero. Obviously, I played him at different parts during his patches. Right now, weapon power Idris is just a little bit more powerful than CP Idris, but I used to love playing him when, of course, he was down that CP variant. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of just you have both your paths unlocked here, which is super powerful for Idris, purely just due to the fact that CP Idris's disadvantage is his mobility here, miss. The Shroud Step roll is slow, allowing you to be pulled back out of your pull. When you have the blink instead, it's the same distance, but you cover it immediately. Allows you to either get into a fight or away from the fight immediately. And when you consider how much CC and utility is being seen in the current meta, you know, a Yates pull, for example, that Iron Maw, being able to blink away from it is life-changing.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it kind of acts in the same way that we talked about those very quick reposition abilities like Arcane Passage, your Afterburn, able to Shroud Step instantly. That's a really big deal. Now it looks like Delphi goes down here. Of course, the pause was requested by Team TTigers, and I'm not sure if that's because they had an AFK. Might have spaced out on that. If it is, it looks like it would be blanks in the base, but we're not sure on that 100%.
Yeah, not entirely sure what's going on here. I guess when we get informations, apparently TTigers, his device was dying, so he had to.
Come on, you wonder if like professional players should know that, right? Like,
you can see him on the screen plugging.
He probably was thinking to himself, like at the beginning of the day, he like looked at his battery and he's like, I got 40%. Yeah, we'll be able to get the W by then.
I mean, yeah, back at the beginning of the day, he thought it would be fine. Unfortunately, things didn't go to plan for TTigers here. I love the way that they're playing this game, by the way, Team Tigers. After Mixi got caught out, the way they kind of kited back, and they used the Gauntlet not necessarily to catch anyone humorous, but actually just to provide, starting all over, with the room to be able to throw out his chakrams, stack up his Dragon's Eye, and provide a lot of consistent damage. The difference between the build that we have from starting all over today, or in this game, sorry, compared to his previous CP Idris build, is that previously starting all over went for the chakram, which does a lot of burst damage but never gets stronger as the team fight goes on. This time, because they have Mixi on the Silne, who's going to be providing a lot of good burst damage, because they got TTigers as well, they kind of want a bit more consistency and sustainability coming from starting all over. So they've got the Dragon's Eye, which starting all over is consistently stacking up to provide him a lot of damage. And when those fights do last quite a long time, and they will because of the stain that is brought out from a Lyra, from an Adagio, and there's just the tankiness that I guess a flicker can have. It makes more sense that you build up damage over time using the Dragon's Eye rather than going for burst. So I really like the adaptations that we're seeing from starting all over, kind of knowing when he needs to play one way and when he needs to play others. This is just like the small details, I suppose, that comes out from individual players that I personally just find really interesting.
Well, there you have it. It's all in the details as Team TTigers will be taking the victory after taking 3 kills, Ghostwing, and pushing on forward. Surprise, surprise, they put it all together. It was a thing of beauty. Maybe should have plugged in his device a little bit earlier. But with that, Dalsy, thank you very much for staying up late into your evening, early morning, getting that cast off. It's been a pleasure, guys. And with this, let's go ahead and throw it back over to the analyst desk so Tasty Bacon and Munchables can break this down.